Okay? And I'm hearing from people who know athletes on that team that they were not told it that way.
They weren't listening.
And they're upset.
Because he said that on 60 Minutes.
Okay? He didn't say it that way, Charlamagne. I saw that.
He did.
He did not.
Exact
No,
quote.
he didn't.
Exact
now,
quote.
if he did not do it that way, that automatically means that Deion Sanders used, abused, and exploited HBCU Jackson State just to be given an opportunity to show predominantly white institutions that he could coach. If he only used them as a stepping stone to getting a job at a white college, he was dead wrong. Now, let me tell y'all why this is bigger than football. Mm-hmm. What case is the Supreme Court reviewing right now?
The
right now,
the case against black. What is it for black students in colleges?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. The U.S. Supreme Court right now is reviewing whether or not racially conscious admissions in higher education are unconstitutional. And guess who is bringing the suit? Asians. But guess who's funding the suit? White people with connections to the 6 conservative justices on the United States Supreme Court bench. So, what they're saying is Asians are discriminated against on the basis of the personality aspect of the admissions process in the University of North Carolina, among other universities. By subjecting Asians to personality assessment, which includes background, socioeconomic status, culture, this, that, you are, what you want to be, Asians are being penalized for their high test scores and grades. So what the Asians want and what the white folks who are funding the Asians want is they want the Supreme Court to say you cannot include race at all as a factor in higher education admissions. If they throw that out, if they say Harvard cannot use the personality assessment portion of the admissions process, the percentage of Asians that get accepted into PWIs goes up by 20%, and the percentage of black students will plummet by at least 50%. You know what that means? You are watching the gentrification of black children off of the PWI campus. How is this relevant to Deion Sanders? The reason I'm so personally disappointed in Deion is I thought he was there for a movement, not for money. Meaning, Deion Sanders, the coach of Jackson State, I foresaw a situation where Deion would hire other coaches, other retired black NFL greats to coach other HBCUs. In doing so, you attract our top tier high school athletes to come to HBCU.
Maybe.
Stay with me.
Eddie George at Tennessee
Stay
State.
with me. Stay with me. Football and you know like I know, if you got top tier NFL greats coaching HBCUs, the athletes are coming just like they was coming for Deion. He showed you, Charlamagne.
Deion, though.
He showed
Dr.
you.
Umar.
And his other one's just
Deion,
as
one of
great.
the most famous people ever.
And his other one's just as great. So listen.
Eddie George at Tennessee State.
That's one person. We talking about a system, not an individual. So, Deion and these other coaches bring all these athletes from high school to play football, basketball, so forth. The revenue of the HBCU goes up, Indy. As a result of the revenue going up, Charlamagne, the schools got more money. They don't have to subject themselves to closure. They don't have to subject themselves to being dependent on white money. You got HBCUs at risk of being closed. I read something that said almost a half of them. A half may not survive the decade. So this was bigger than football. This was about the survival of the HBCU.
It's bigger than Deion,
especially,
though, Dr. Umar.
no,
Yes,
no. Stop trying
you're blaming an individual.
Stop trying to give celebrities a pass, Charlamagne.
No, you're blaming an individual
I'm not
instead of
blaming
talking.
I'm blaming being men.
But you know what?
I'm blaming us for not being men. That was an unmanly.
One thing. HBCUs chronically underfunded.
Of course.
Were they chronically underfunded? Chronically underfunded after Deion.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are those reasons that they're chronically underfunded?
Because we as black men have not come together to create the funding source. Here, people on every day.
I'm with you. So you got low donors,
okay.
right?
Okay.
Low endowments, correct? That's a us problem.
He's part of us. Why you keep exhibiting celebrities? They're not better than us.
He's one person.
Okay, but the point is that one man could have been a catalyst for a movement that would have revolutionized the survival of HBCUs.
But why does the movement stop just because you left? HBCUs will still be here.
You're missing the point.
No, HBCUs
the abolition wasn't just about Frederick Douglass, but if Frederick Douglass would have pulled out, it would have hurt it. The Underground Railroad wasn't just about Harriet, but if she would have pulled out, it would have failed.
So what was
the civil rights movement wasn't just about King.
Before Deion 3 years ago, what was
they were struggling and he could have helped save it. And for him to pull out of Jackson State the way that he did it before making sure the HBCU system survived, to me was selfish. He chose money over the movement, Charlamagne, and celebrities do it all the time, and y'all want to give him a pass. Nobody get no pass. I don't care who Deion Sanders is. He had a chance to help, and he hurt, and y'all want to condone that because you black celebrities are not committed to the best interests of black people.
Let me ask you a question. When Deion was coaching high school kids for several years, you know, when he
we
was
ain't talking about that. We're talking about survival of HBCU.
I'm gonna get there. When he was coaching high school kids for several years, you know, black kids, when he was opening up Prime Prep Academy, got closed down because they had financial issues. When he went to Jackson State for $1.2 million for 4 years and said, you know what, y'all
take a state for 4 years.
But listen, y'all take half this salary and go build a better
Uh-huh.
facility for students, and he got to pay back $300,000.
And after all that, I'm still going to leave Jackson State for a super white college that got a 1.6 black student.
But you ain't let me finish my point.
Rate. Wait.
How can you say
1.6 black students, which means the only blacks on that campus are the athletes, and you're going to tell me that that's a step up? You sold us out for money, bro.
How can you say it's about money when when his track record shows
he stayed for 3 years? That was no commitment. His track record shows that if white people give me the money, I'll turn my back on the HBCU. What are you talking about? That's what he did.
I disagree.
That's what he just did.
I disagree.
Come on, man. If he would have stayed there, if Deion would have stayed there, like I said, he could have brought other black coaches in, former NFL greats. They would have raised the revenue of the HBCU, which is so critical now. Why? Because the Asians are being financed by white folks to kick what little blacks are left on the PWI campus off. So that means the critical importance of the HBCU is greater now than it's ever been. So for Deion to pull this right now makes it even worse because you're leaving the HBCU system when you had a chance
how many
to
lashes for Deion?
Stop trying to exempt black celebrities from accountability to the race. Celebrities are not above accountability. Stop,
I agree. So how many lashes for Deion?
50,000 lashes for Deion.
Now, no. Shut up. More important question. How much? No. How much was donation to HBCU today?
Building 2 independent schools, the first in its history.
No.
Whoa.
If you're gonna be that passionate about HBCUs,
no.
how much you want to donate to HBCU
Let me answer
today?
your question. May I? First of all, I'm not a multi-millionaire. Second of all,
why you gotta be a
can I
multi-millionaire?
finish my question? I donate to HBCUs on a regular basis.
Okay.
I do. But my point is, I'm focused on destroying the school-to-prison pipeline. I'm building 2 independent schools from the ground.
I applaud you for that.
Black money. Nobody you've interviewed in this studio ever is doing that. Not one of them. You understand me? So I'm doing my part, and that's why I can expect Deion Sanders to do his part. And that's why lashes also go to Shannon Sharp, because Shannon Sharp on national television said he didn't even want to go to a HBCU. He wanted to go to a PWI. And every time celebrities try to do something good, black people want to beat them up. I beg your pardon, Shannon Sharp. I know that you don't date black women. You have no loyalty to black women. Now you want to tell the world you have no loyalty to the HBCU. If you didn't want to go to Savannah State, you keep that to yourself. You don't tell the whole world that you didn't want to go to a HBCU and then try to chide the black community for asking Deion Sanders to have a little community.
With all that said, Umar, what do we do for HBCUs moving forward? Because Deion's gone, but HBCUs will still be here.
I just told you, black celebrities have to come together. Stop buying chains. Stop going to clubs and strip joints. Stop with all the expensive clothing. Stop cooning and use some of this disposable income that we spending on Christmas gifts right now and come up with a funding source. So many celebrities went to HBCUs. Why can't they be the catalyst of a black celebrity and grassroots? Because we should be paying to movement to finance this. I'm simply saying Deion could have been the face of that and was beginning to be, and he allowed himself to get bought out by a white
But he left the blueprint.
That's it. I don't want to hear about no blueprint.
He left the blueprint.
That's like Harriet Tubman saying, I'm not going to help you in the Underground Railroad. I'm going to lead the blueprint. Marcus Garvey, I'm not going to help you with the independence movement. I'm going to lead the blueprint. That's cowardliness, man.
I'm not putting that all on Deion because there's enough of us that can keep these programs sustained if we do what we're supposed to.
Okay, but you can't do that with people running away like Deion Sanders. That was a cowardly move. He was wrong.
How many
$50,000.
How much for Shannon Sharp?
Shannon gonna get about 100 by now. Stephen A getting about 50,000. Candace Owens getting about $100,000 last year. She out there doing documentaries on Black Lives Matter. Appropriate because they were wrong for misappropriating that money. But where's Candace Owens' documentary on the Brett Favre situation or the Jerry Jones situation? My disagreement with my sister is she's letting white folks silence her to embarrass her people publicly. No black person should do that.
And also, I just want to tell y'all, Dr. Umar is going to be on my late night talk show this week, hell of a week.
And we're going to have a hell of a time.
Listen.
Envy, I want you to please support the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. That's right. Get on your Cash app, $FDMG School, $FDMG School. Get on your PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. And make sure you subscribe to my video on demand site, www.drumar.tv, www.drumar.tv. Parents, stop getting your children tested for special ed. I'm going to say this and I'm done. We're seeing a surge of black children be put in special ed. The schools are exploiting the miseducation that our children were subjected to during COVID when they were home learning on the laptop, okay? And they're now using these academic losses as a justification for special ed. I'm telling every black mother, if the school asks you to get your child tested, you tell the school that the reason my child is behind grade level in reading or math is because they didn't get adequate instruction during COVID. They're not going to special ed. Give them a tutor from that Title I money. And if your child doesn't go to a Title I school, you dig in your pocket and you pay for a tutor. They don't need an IEP. They don't need special ed. They need a tutor. If you need to reach me, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. Black celebrities must be held accountable.
Make sure you watch Dr. Umar tonight on Hell of a Week, 11:30 p.m. on Comedy Central.
Well, there you have it.
I always appreciate you, Dr. Umar.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
All right, well.
We got to take our flick, right?
It's the
Let's do
we
it.
got to close it out, man. It's the Breakfast Club.
Oh, my bad. It's the Breakfast Club.
Goodness
The revolution don't stop, baby. The revolution don't stop.